Good morning. My name is John O'Brien from Athabasca University in Canada, and I'll be your moderator for the session. I'd like to welcome our panelists. Dr. Susan Aldridge is president of the University of Maryland University College in the United States. Dr. Dhanarajan is vice chancellor of Wawasan Open University in Malaysia. And Stavros Xanthopoylos is dean of FGV Online in Brazil. Welcome and thank you. You'll notice that we don't have microphones set up in the audience for questions. We've decided to do this slightly differently today. You can join us online if you have laptops or access to the internet. And our web address is www.ou.nl/ICDE2009. And navigate the links beginning with video, and you'll land on a place where you can put your questions to the stage, and we'll see them on the monitors here. So we've heard a lot of themes emerging from the two keynote speakers. So we'll start, I guess, with the broadest one. And that's the rapidly changing, and I do mean rapidly changing, educational environment worldwide, driven by many factors, and technology seems to be chief among them. I'd like to ask each of you, what are your universities doing to adapt to this changing environment? Susan.
The technological advances today give us an opportunity not only to launch our education programs online through distance education, but also give us an opportunity to provide richly web-enhanced courses, web-enhanced opportunities for our traditional face-to-face classes. The technology that brings us distance education is also the technology that enhances traditional face-to-face education for students and for faculty. We have invested heavily in technology at University of Maryland University College and reinvest every year, from completely redundant systems to e-applications to online registration systems to 24-hour days, 7-day-a-week reference librarians to technological support systems, orientations for students and for faculty. So for us, we've tried to utilize the technological advancements as a tool to really replicate as many of the systems and support that we possibly can for students, because our students are not able to go through a door. They come to us from many countries, from many different locations, many time zones, and so we've replicated every process and system that we possibly could to give students and faculty an opportunity to succeed in this format.
Raj?
Well, I need to come at this question not necessarily from a technocentric point of view, but why we are there as a university. Malaysia falls somewhere in between a quote developed and a quote developing country. Roughly of our 11 million workers in the country, something like 9 million have less than 9 years of schooling. And yet the country wishes to move forward in the knowledge economy, in a globalized world where it sees its workers to be highly productive. The state doesn't have the necessary funds to address the continuing lifelong learning requirements of a nation, of a citizenship that has to function in this new world. We are a university that's in the making, and it's a work in progress. We are completely supported by the community, by charity, not by government funds, not by corporates, but by ordinary people. And their interest is to ensure that outside of governments, communities can do certain things to help themselves. That's the basis. So we are not a well-endowed, we are not a very rich university which can put its hands into the back pocket of the treasury and draw money for huge technological investments. And yet technology is necessary for us. I may disagree with Brenda at this stage of our development, where we see technology as a tool to deliver what we think are necessary learning products to some 9 million Malaysian workers. We're not there yet, but we're certainly going to be looking at it as a tool. Whether in the future, with my eyes on the horizon, would technology turn around and be the teacher itself? Well, I'll let find out. I am a little bit of a skeptic in terms of using the technology as a major driver to deliver learning. I'd like to, at least in my context in Malaysia, be a little bit of a realist, have my feet on the ground and say, I'm going to use this technology to reach that audience that I'm expected to reach. Now, I will do all the things that you're doing in terms of administration, in terms of using it as a vehicle to take the message across. Yes, mobile telephones to send administrative messages, but not mobile telephones to download huge files of learning. Impossible. Yet, 99% of our students actually have mobiles. Why can't we use the tool? Look, every second that they are downloading is a cost to them. When you are a learner, working hard, managing family, social commitments, where do you find the money to support your learning by using tools that are going to cost you a lot more? So we got to be a little bit realistic. I fear that for the foreseeable future, our use of technology meaningfully, our use of the full potential of the technology may be a little modest.
Stavros.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. And in our case, we are a non-profit foundation. And we, complementary to what they said, we use very much the technology as a whole to enhance our face-to-face education. As far as the schools go, there is skepticism from the academics themselves. It's very hard to attract people to come over and work in teams maybe, or multidisciplinary teams to generate content. So we face more a problem of going through the paradigm of quality in terms of, you know, the technology itself and the content might be just as effective or more effective than the face-to-face process. So as far as the supporting the face-to-face programs, we're still trying to break the barrier in terms of getting into it, so it's a developing process. I do agree a little with Raj, right? Yes. In terms of using the technology as a teaching platform as a whole, we still are not mature enough, and we do have the same problems as the cost you brought up on a wider scope. In our case, we are a very privileged organization because we top the country, and we have like 30,000 MBA students all over the country on a face-to-face basis that use practically no technology-enhanced systems for the education itself, but only for administrative stuff, right? And on the other hand, the unit that I'm ahead of, we are just putting in 100% effort of having online courses and webcasting and stuff like that, which makes us maybe the vanguard of the institution to try and work with the distance education, but focused more on continued education, where workers lack time and lack they need flexibility to get their education. And then we have almost around 27,000 to 30,000 students a year coming in on, I should say, on a very, very keen and effective platform, because these people normally haven't had the chance of having good education as far as their graduation courses, etc. So we complement that, and we do have a real effect on how managing, especially in our area, which is business administration, economics, and law. So we really enhance people's education through technology. On the other hand, if we take it on a general, we have an extension which is continental, like India and the States, etc., but we are in the developing world. So we still, on higher education, our Open Universities has just been, it's got 3 or 4 years it was established, although we have a 200 million population. We have we're trying to reach 10 million students by 2011. We have something like 6 million students in higher education nowadays, and the distance education courses are really increasing in all modalities. But if you go, for example, we have difficulties up north. In the northern part of Brazil, the roads are rivers. So how do you get people physically to classes? It's very difficult. So media like television, which is something that the Brazilian people are very used to, are used massively for higher and even secondary high school education. So we're still probably in the long run going to be experiencing a massive, maybe teaching, not a teaching tool as technology, right? Technology would be the teaching process itself, as Brenda suggests. But I still see it as a very effective tool to reach specific public in the combinations of technology that are available. So that would be basically a quick overview of what we have.